So today I'm doing the 5-step framework so that you can max out your marks on paper 3 GCSE Maths for any exam board. It doesn't really matter. These are quite general advice. Firstly, stop trying to predict your grade from papers 1 and 2. I know there's loads of these unofficial mark schemes always being released. It's okay, right? Don't agonise over these two. You have a third paper so you can pull up the marks, okay? Make a cheat sheet is number 2. When you do revision now for paper 3, you've got to make something called a mistake list, but I label it with a better name as a cheat sheet, and I'm going to put my link up here so you can look at my cheat sheet video if you want to. It's honestly a really good video and a really good tactic for exams, okay? So do check that out. And essentially what it does is you get this piece of paper, as you do your questions, you write down all your mistakes, and then because all your mistakes are just on one piece of paper right in front of you, your brain thinks, oh, this is really important stuff. I need to memorize this, I need to remember this. And then it does you the favor of relearning it all, and you can actually envision your cheat sheet in your head during your exams, and so it's super helpful, okay? Number 3 is to relearn only the topics that are most likely to come up in paper 3, okay? So some topics that come up in all the papers, and again, you can look at loads of really helpful prediction videos for this. I'm going to link some in the description box below, and you just relearn the topics that you made mistakes in, that you know you made mistakes in paper 2, and then you're going to use that to your advantage because you're going to learn that fully, and make sure you don't make a mistake on that again, okay? And so when it comes up in paper 3, you are ready and loaded. Number 4 is to do mixed hard questions, not topic revision. Okay, this is the time where you just let go of just doing topic practice. So for example, if you want to do surds, don't just go and do some practice questions on surds. You need to do past exam questions on that topic, because exam questions combine different topics together, especially the higher level questions. And if you're aiming for, full marks or grade 8s, grade 9s, that's what you want to be doing, okay? So I'm going to repeat again, do the mixed hard questions. So the questions themselves should have a couple of topics in them, and they should be hard for your level. So for example, if you're aiming for a grade 7, make sure you're doing the grade 7, 8 questions. If you're aiming for a grade 9, make sure you're doing all of the hard questions that you can find and have access to. And then any mistakes that you're making in this, when you look back at the mark scheme and you try and check that you're getting things correct, you're going to put those mistakes in our favorite cheat sheet up here, so that you can review all the mistakes, upload them into your brain, and then not make them in the real exam, okay? This cheat sheet can also include things like, you always make silly mistakes, you numpty head, make sure that you don't do that, okay? Or it can include something like, don't forget that you've got to check for your negative and positive signs, because you usually get confused on those. You can just have little notes like that as well. It doesn't have to be a super technical error from the question. Of course, it will include those too. And last but definitely not least is when you're marking yourself on those questions that you're practicing, you must be super strict with yourself, okay? You've got to be the mean examiner that you don't want to have in the exam, because even if you do end up having them now, because you were so mean to yourself during revision, it doesn't matter, okay? Because you fixed all the mistakes that you've made and you're not making them again in the exam. And then possibly the most important task here is to redo every failed question 24 hours later. So you do not want to do these questions, make mistakes, learn how to do them, and never look at them again, because guess what? You're going to forget. So you must review them 24 hours later and redo them without notes, like from scratch, like you're doing it for the first time. And you should be able to get closer to full marks the second time around, because you've just reviewed the mark scheme and how to do the question yesterday. And then of course, any mistakes that you're still making, go straight into this cheat sheet, and every night you look at this cheat sheet and you make sure that the stuff is getting into your head and it's getting ingrained in your memory, and so you won't make these mistakes when it comes to your final paper 3. Okay, that's all. Use this 5-step framework and you will definitely see results, okay? I promise. Good luck. Oh, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll try and answer them as best as I can, okay? Also, you guys can get chatting in the comments too.